And to reiterate the point about austerity, I think, did I talk about this, the IMF, the other day? The top economists from the International Monetary Fund last week acknowledged that the fund blew its forecast for Greece and other European economies because it did not fully understand how government austerity efforts would undermine economic growth. I don't even know how to really digest this, because it was clear there was a tremendous outcry from economists, it seemed to me, across the spectrum, who said that, everything that we know of Keynesian economics suggests that if you cut spending and raise taxes, particularly on those people who spend money, during an economic downturn, you're going to deepen the economic downturn. But yet, apparently, at the IMF, they don't have, phones or the internet. The new and highly technical paper looks again at the issue of fiscal multipliers. We have talked about this on this program, the impact that a rise or fall in government spending or tax collection has on the country's economic output. In other words, there is not necessarily a one-to-one relationship between government spending and how it affects the economy. Government spending and specific types of government spending and specific types of tax increases or cuts have an implication beyond that $1 in the context of the economy. We know that the multiplier effect, for instance, for unemployment insurance is around $1.62. For every $1 of unemployment insurance you give to unemployed people, it has a $1.62 impact on the economy, on the GDP. Because that dollar gets spent and spent and spent again. Because that first recipient of that dollar puts it immediately into the economy. And in buying products that will have a greater effect. That is the multiplier. If fiscal multipliers are small, writes Howard Schneider, I believe this was in the New York Times, countries can cut spending faster or raise more in taxes without short-term damage. In other words, the fiscal multiplier for a tax on people who make more than $450,000 a year is very tiny because they don't spend this money anyways. If they are large, like unemployment insurance, then the process can become self-defeating. Or in other words, if you stop unemployment insurance, they can become self-defeating, at least in the short run, with each dollar of government spending cuts, for example, costing the economy more than $1 in lost output, and thus actually increasing the debt to GDP ratios. So the IMF has now conceded this point. And it's why you see the Greek economy, even though they imposed this austerity, supposedly to cut their deficit, go into the toilet and increase their deficit. And you see the same thing in Britain. You see the same thing in Spain. You see it wherever this type of austerity has been imposed. So the implications of 4 years of government job cuts under President Obama, despite the fact that there were 725,000 more jobs in the private sector. There were almost 700,000 fewer government jobs. That is why we have had such a hard time recovering from this recession. The decrease in spending, the shrinking of the deficit, has also been a huge lag in the recovery of this recession. So all of what we're seeing over the next 2 months is nothing more than an attempt to cut long-term spending and do it on the backs of essentially senior citizens. Either by cutting Medicare in the form of raising eligibility age, or cutting Social Security in the form of undercounting the inflation adjustments that seniors need to maintain some type of parity in their retirement so that they don't have to move from tuna to cat food. This is all an attempt by the establishment and the wealthy in this country to basically pay government bills by shrinking the social support systems of our country. That's all it is. And in the case of President Obama, I think at least a part of that is also, if we can get a deal on cutting Social Security, it's going to be one element of my legacy. I've checked off that box.